up, Stamp Gang? This is Sade of shardenodyzoff. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time visiting my little neck of the internet woods, welcome. I am Sade. I am a travel and wellness vlogger. If you are a return visitor but you have not subscribed yet, or if you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. Turn on the notification bell so that you are made aware when I post videos at the end of every week. And if you are a new subscriber or a returning subscriber, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of my internet family and supporting the work that I am doing. I love hearing from you guys, so make sure you're dropping me lines and, you know, just interacting with me. All right, y'all. Some people are journalers. I would not consider myself a journaler just because I am never consistent. I have never been consistent with diary, journal, otherwise. But I think that journaling is so important to the self-care process because it can help you, especially if you're not a person that talks a whole lot, if you are not the kind of person that likes to have conversation and talk out things and ideas, but you're more of an interior kind of person, that you take everything in and work it out on the inside or mentally like I am. Journaling becomes super important as a way of thinking through the changes you're trying to make in yourself. It's a way to think through feelings and emotions and thoughts and get them somewhere that you can start working them out so they're not just roaming around in your head. Because, you know, if you've ever been thinking about something or had a full-blown monologue just start rotating in your mind, you find out that the mind can be a really, really scary and dangerous place. So it's important to, you know, take things out of it, to dump sometimes, whatever way that is necessary for you. I had a friend a long time ago. He used to write down all of his thoughts in his cell phone, in his iPhone notes or whatever. There are many different ways to do that. For me, I have a journal. I call it a rabbit hole. Yes, rabbit hole in the sense of Alice in Wonderland. And why I call it a rabbit hole is because it is an intentional way for me to delve into myself and to ask myself the hard questions, or even just deal with whatever happens to be going through my mind and my soul and my heart at the time. Now, this is, you know, strategies for journaling when you are not a journaler. Okay, so I first started my rabbit hole, and this is my first rabbit hole. I'm on my second one. I started this one October 2016, and I started the rabbit hole while I was going through my weekly therapy sessions. And I did it because I am not a big talker when it comes to my feelings and my thoughts. Like, it's really hard for me to express those things. I am better at expressing things in writing. And so I did this as a way of sort of keeping track of my self-care journey and my journey to becoming more self-actualized, learning myself better, figuring out who I am at this juncture in my life. And so I started by asking myself the hard questions. And they're the questions that you really have to sit down and think about. And they became prompts for how I am starting to unpack the various parts of myself, because we're all really, really complex. We have multiple facets, like, you know, a diamond or any sort of gemstone that has like all these different kinds of facets and sides to them. We are like that. And I would ask myself a really pointed question that I had to sit down and answer, and that would be the thing that I would write about. And more importantly, I don't write every day. I might go a week or 2 weeks without writing, but my rabbit hole is sort of a safe space for me to unpack to dream, to write lists, to draw. Like, there are just a lot of things. So I want to offer you a few strategies for how to keep your own rabbit hole. First, you're going to need a journal. For me, because I wanted to give myself enough room, this is an 8x11 journal that I got at Office Depot, and I think it was like $10. And I wanted something that was not too bulky that I could travel with. And this thing has gone a lot of places in 2 years. And so I started out like thinking about questions that I needed to answer for myself, and I actually still have them in my rabbit hole. They are on sticky notes, and this is where I started. I started with, you know, what have I lost? What am I struggling with? And then when I asked myself, what am I struggling with? I asked myself, how do I combat the things that I am struggling with? And, you know, so it's a lot of like really small pointed things that sort of help me to get a better sense of my own personal landscape. And I think a lot of times we go about life, you know, knowing that there are hard questions that we need to answer, and we'll think of the hard question, but then we'll be like, I'm not in a place where I can answer this now. I don't have time to answer this now, da 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 da. But you need to. It's super important because it gives you a clearer sense of how you situate yourself in the world. And so I wrote, I had lists, like I have in here what I call my living list, which some people will call a bucket list. And it's things that I wanted to do. This was from 2017. And sometimes I revise them. I do them again because you change. You can change from year to year. And, you know, I do things that I can mark off. I do my beginning of the year goals. If I resituate my goals halfway through the year, I write that down. And it's a way for me to keep track and re-examine where I am at any given point. Now, another very interesting thing to do with your rabbit hole is to have people write letters in it to you. The people that mean the most to you, have them write letters to you. And what this does is it gives you something to look back on from people that are in your corner. The first people that wrote in my rabbit hole, and only 2 people I've written in my rabbit hole, were my mother and the man. So I'm one of those people that I struggle a lot with my self-confidence and coming down on myself really, really hard. So what they did was they wrote me letters about whatever they thought about me or whatever they felt I needed to know. And I have them in here in case I forget. So I might reread it. And it's a literal, you know, physical reminder of how others see me. Not just others, but how the people I care about the most see me. And that is one thing to do, you could do with your rabbit hole. Have the people that mean the most to you write you a letter. And just ask that it be, you know, honest, but also loving as a reminder. Make lists. Give yourself goals, but give yourself small, manageable goals. Give yourself large goals. And then, you know, if you're feeling something, sometimes I'll sit and write because I'm feeling something and I just follow that stream of feeling, and it can lead you to some really interesting places because you don't know, like if you're upset about something and one thing upset you but you start writing about it, you may find that the thing that upset you is not the thing you're actually upset about, that it's something even deeper than that, and then you can start working through that. So there's so many things that little things you can do to start going into yourself a little bit deeper. Now, what I am going to do for this to help you get started on your rabbit hole is to give you questions. I'm going to come up with a set of questions and prompts to help guide your rabbit hole experience. And I'm going to put them up on my website. I'm going to put them up on shardenodyzoff.com and make it an available free tool to help you to start digging deeper into yourself and to start your own rabbit hole. Like I said, I have two. This is my second one, and it is a lot more hefty. But, you know, it's the same. It's big enough for me to draw, and I have not even gotten halfway through it. And this one started November of last year. So my rabbit holes last about a year, maybe a little bit longer depending on how big it is. But, you know, it's just my personal journey to getting at who Sharday is. Because if you know yourself, then you do things differently. You move about the world with an assurance, and then you don't go for trash. Like, you're not going to accept things below a certain standard once you are really pegged in who you are at the moment and ever trying to figure out how you're evolving as a person. So definitely check out shardenodyzoff.com to get the free rabbit hole tool, and I hope that you will take the time to do some of the prompts. You don't have to do them every day necessarily, but you can use them to guide how you start out your rabbit hole. It really does become a, you know, intention and a practice. If you are a journaler, how has it helped you? Let me know whether you're a journaler or not, why, and whether you think it helps. As always, friends, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend about the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.